Star Wars Battlefront 2 is a multiplayer FPS developed by DICE and published by EA, released on November 17, 2017. It definitely didn't have an easy start, thanks to bad progression system and loot boxes, which coupled with horrible PR moves that only added more fuel to the fire, earned EA title of most downvoted post on Reddit, even going as far as making authorities investigate their gambling potential. And it looks like they didn't learn anything. In June, when EA was called to talk about loot boxes, they called them surprise mechanics, saying that their use in games was quite ethical and quite fun and enjoyable to people. I wonder why everybody hates them. But thankfully Battlefront 2 managed to pull itself out of microtransactions hellhole. Grind for star cards is gone, you no longer receive random parts and crafting materials in boxes. Instead, by playing as a certain class or hero, you receive experience points for them, and as you level up you gain skill points that can be used to unlock star cards. Heroes are also a lot easier to come by, they are no longer locked behind credits, and you can use any hero you want right from the start. Credits or crystals can only be used for customization, like buying new outfits or skins. To answer question asked in the title, yes, I think that Battlefront 2 is worth buying. Outside of its already solved monetization problem, it was always a decent game, and with all the updates that came out in the last 2 years, I think it is a great Star Wars game. Well, single-player campaign is okay, thanks to its Resurrection update that answered questions left by original ending, but its story is still nothing amazing, mainly due to twist that happens in like third mission that made rest of campaign generic as hell. On the other hand, multiplayer is fantastic. You get a huge selection of mods to play, 10 in total. Heroes vs villains, starfighter battles or galactic assaults, where you get to visit some of the most iconic Star Wars places and fight in huge battles involving soldiers, heroes and vehicles. Or you can test your skill in a smaller game modes like Ewok Hunt, Blast or Strike. When it comes to solo play, you don't have to worry, there aren't any advantages when playing in groups, unlike in Battlefield, where unless you had 4 bodies in a tank, you didn't stand a chance. Here, every vehicle is controlled by one player, and that makes it a bit harder to kill others. And as infantry, you have more options of destroying them. Maps are smaller, so you will constantly be engaged in combat, and I never had my typical Battlefield solo experience, where I run around the map for 5 minutes and then get killed by a plane. I also had a feeling that most of other players were solo as well. I didn't meet any huge groups of players making coordinated attacks. But newcomers will probably not have it easy, since Battlefront is already 2 years old and, let's be honest, it is not the most popular multiplayer game. Its player base mainly consists of veterans that already have a lot of hours behind them. Another thing that plays against newcomers are the infamous star cards. You gain them by playing and leveling up, and they can give character a significant boost. For example, there are cards that increase characters' health, make them deal bonus damage to heroes, or increase the amounts of battle points they get. So other than being more skilled at the game, veterans also gain another advantage over newbies thanks to cards. I really don't like this system. Instead of these passive boosts, star cards could be used for unlocking abilities and new weapons or outfits. But no, we have microtransactions for that. One more thing you need to be aware of is that gunplay is different from classic shooters. In Battlefront, blaster shots travel actual distance, they are a bit slower than usual bullets, so you have to take enemies' position and movement into consideration, but after an hour or 2 you will get used to it. I had a lot of fun in the game even as a newcomer. First few hours may be frustrating, but as you start unlocking things and learning how to play, it gets easier, and you get to enjoy all the heroes and cool locations a lot more. It felt like I was playing a beautiful, casual version of Battlefield set in Star Wars universe. My preferred platform was PC, and player base was solid. I never had to wait more than a few seconds for main modes like Galactic Assault, Capital Supremacy or Heroes vs Villains, but others, mainly operations, will taste your patience. It is still a lot better than I expected, and even though it may take a few minutes, you're gonna find the match eventually. These days game sells for around 20 to 30 euros, and for that price I would recommend it. It improved a lot since release, and all they need to do now is rework the star card system. I hate it, just like Anakin hates sand. And with that out of the way, let's take a closer look at Battlefront's single player and multiplayer, their gameplay, mechanics, modes, and other things that caught my attention. There is a surprising amount of single player content, and let's start off with campaign. It tells the story of Iden Versio, an Imperial commander, beginning with the destruction of second Death Star. Now, I can't talk very much about it without spoiling the twist that happens in first third, but like I mentioned before, I didn't really like it, and the story becomes very generic after it, without any surprises or jaw-dropping moments. It also has some pacing issues. One minute you are destroying a dreadnought with Idrin, and in the next mission you get to play as Luke and kill bugs for 15 minutes, which only takes away from an already weak emotional impact some story parts are supposed to have. I understand that authors were limited due to the upcoming release of Last Jedi, and I'm sure they did what they could with the material they had, but still, the story was disappointing, even with the Resurrection DLC. It manages to tie up all loose ends from original ending, but it doesn't add anything new here. Gameplay wise though, it serves as a good tutorial. It introduces you to infantry and their skills, gives you a taste of air combat, and you also get to play as some of our favorite heroes, like Lando or Han Solo. Missions are usually structured as multiplayer matches. Sometimes you have to defend position, kill certain amounts of enemies, or take over points. There are some things that did really well, like graphics that still look amazing even in 2019, and various environments from all Star Wars eras that are absolutely breathtaking.
You're breathtaking! You're all breathtaking!
Walking around Endor, Naboo and other classic places feels great, and I just wish we had a better story to go with it. Overall, I think that campaign is worth playing if you already bought the game. It will take you around 6 hours to complete it, but don't bother getting it only for that. I don't think it offers enough to justify purchase. Other than campaign, you can also check out arcade mode. There you have unique battle scenarios where you take control of a specific hero or class and kill certain amounts of enemies in time limit. In second type of battles, you either control basic infantry, special classes or heroes, and engage in classic team battle. Each scenario has 3 difficulty settings, there are 18 in total, and it took me around 1 hour to play through each of them. Honestly, it is nothing special, but enjoyable. And finally, we have custom arcade, where you can essentially create your own scenarios. You can choose what sort of mode you want to try out, how many NPCs are in it, map, and few other modifiers, like how fast abilities recharge, you can disable heroes, choose what classes can be picked, and so on. Once again, a fun little mode that you're gonna try a few times, but probably won't spend too much time in. While Battlefront may offer a lot of different activities for single player, most of them are pretty shallow and don't offer that many hours of entertainment. So let's move on to the main attraction.
This is where the fun begins.
There are 10 multiplayer modes, split between 3 categories called Heroes and Villains, Assault and Operations. Let's start with Assault, that contains Capital Supremacy, Strike, Galactic and Starfighter Assault. Each one is a bit different. Galactic Assault is the main Battlefront mode with most maps and players, and it is a good starting point for any newcomers. Here, 40 players have to complete various objectives, either as a defending or attacking side. For example, you have to defend advancing walkers, while other side has to destroy them with rocket launchers. Or you have to set bomb on that star, while the other side defends it, winning once they deplete their reinforcements. Meanwhile, you also gain battle points for killing enemies and playing the objective, that can be used to pick heroes and stronger classes. And I think now is a good time to explain how the class system works. At the beginning of match, when you have 0 battle points, you can pick from 4 starters: Assault, Heavy, Officer and Specialist. Each one of them has their own weapons and 3 abilities that suit their specialization. Heavy has a shield, Specialist can mark enemies with binoculars, Assault can rush opponents with shotgun, and Officer can boost HP and defense of his fellow teammates. You unlock new types of abilities in form of star cards that can be unlocked once you reach a certain level. Cards are separated into 2 categories, boost and ability cards, and I think you can guess what they do from their name. All cards can reach 4 levels of epicness, I guess. They're also unlocked as you level up your class. Now, I already talked about star card system and how I think it puts new players at disadvantage. As you earn battle points, you get to use higher classes as well. Between heroes and infantry, there are 3 of them: Enforcer, Infiltrator and Aerial. Each one costs battle points to use, and just like previous scrap classes, they also come with 3 abilities, their own star cards and increased HP, so you can enjoy them for 10 seconds longer. But you will still feel that instant regret of not saving few more points for that sweet Obi-Wan that is seductively looking at you.
Hello there.
But if you won't be greedy, you get to play as one of heroes. Now these boys can wreak havoc on the battlefield, as long as you know how to use them. I will be talking a bit more about them once you reach Heroes and Villains section. Also, I would recommend playing a few rounds of that before playing as heroes in other game modes. If you don't want to stay on foot, you can also pick different types of vehicles, like tanks, gunships, bikes or wingships. Personally, I didn't play with them too much, I prefer to save my points on heroes, but you can have some fun with them as well. Same selection to classes is also available for our next mod, called Capital Supremacy, a relatively new mod that was added in March. It reminded me of Conquest from Battlefield. Your objective is to take over 5 points on the map, and once your team gains control of 3, you start getting reinforcements, and vice versa. Other than 40 players, it also features 12 bots on each side. They are surprisingly not that stupid. They push or defend objectives, and you might even get killed by one, which would then prompt you to rethink your whole life as a gamer. Once one of sides reaches 100 reinforcements, you move on to second part, which is battle inside the ship. Here, the winning side has to destroy a few objectives in a row, and defenders have to deplete their forces. If defenders manage to win, you go back to the ground and do the first part again, and this can go on for as long as one side doesn't win both stages. I was once in a game that was taking over 1 hour to finish, with neither side wanting to lose, with some pretty epic gamer moments, until my game crashed. It is an action-packed mode where you never know who is going to win until the end, and good play can change the battle around. Maps are big and look great, and thanks to bots you never feel like a total loser, so it gets a thumbs up from me. Next up is Strike, which is basically a small rush. There are no heroes or vehicles here, only 2 teams of 8 players that complete various things. Like in one mission you have to steal planned ships. It is a lot smaller, faster and explosive than previous 2 modes, but if you enjoy infantry combat and you don't want no fancy heroes, then this mod is for you. And last assault mode is Starfighter Assault. Here we can finally see a proper air battle. Players take control of ships that once again have 3 abilities and star cards, try to kill each other and have objectives, while gaining battle points to unlock hero ships. A premise similar to Galactic Assault, except this time you are in space. I didn't enjoy it that much since I suck at flying airships, but I heard it is pretty popular among players. Or maybe not. Still, if you like ship battles in space and like to shout prequel one-liners, then try it out. Now we move on to heroes and villains. Let's start with hero starfighters. In here you get to... You know what? Don't even bother with this one. It is almost impossible to find a game, at least on PC. I managed to eat dinner, go to toilet and read through whole ass credit topic before I found one player that wanted to play this. In the end it took at least 20 minutes to finally get it going. Honestly, it is not a bad mode, you get to play as hero starships and fight against each other. If you're killed, you're moved to basic shit ship, and once all heroes on one side are destroyed, you play another round until one side wins 3 times. Unfortunately, sometimes it devolves into endless hunt of last remaining enemy that tries to prolong the match and make it a draw, which is boring. But if you get good players playing against each other, it can be fun. What am I saying? You will be glad if you get at least someone. On the other hand, heroes vs villains is very popular. In this mode you play as a team of 4 heroes or villains and try to kill each other until your lives are gone. Teamwork is important here. Rushing headfirst into enemy's team is not a good strategy and there is strength in numbers. But there are times when you get to have a nice solo play and then feel proud, until you get pushed off ledge by Yoda. Let's talk a little bit about heroes themselves. Just like previous classes, they come with 3 abilities that can be boosted by star cards, and each hero has his custom set with iconic moves typical for them. Jedis and Siths are melee fighters that can jump high, block and attack with lightsabers, and are a bit tougher than rage fighters like Leia or Bosk, who can use their range as an advantage and kill from distance. There is a huge variety, every hero feels a bit different, and they added few of them since launch, mainly my boy Anakin. Hopefully we get the Jedi Younglings Slaughter DLC map soon. Last mode is Heroes Showdown, a good mode at its core, where you get to play 2 vs 2 duels with heroes. It is plagued by low player count, but I still really liked it. If you manage to get good opponents and teammate, you can agree on only fighting one-on-one, and that is where Heroes combat system shines. You have to carefully block lightsaber attacks, use abilities at right moments, and preserve your stamina. It is a shame that there is no mode that allows 1v1 battles, but hopefully it will come in future. Next category is Operations. Here there are 3 modes: Evoke Hunt, Blast and Extraction, that is on rotation with Jetpack Cargo, that I didn't manage to play. First, let's take a look at most unique one, Evoke Hunt. Set after the destruction of second Death Star, you play as a stormtrooper who is waiting for an extraction with his buddies while getting hunted by Ewoks. It is dark and you can only illuminate small space in front of you with flashlight that can also run out of juice, making it hard to spot Ewoks. If you get killed, you turn into one and hunt the rest of troops. You can use grenades, sticks and enhanced vision to see enemies. Game ends if all stormtroopers are dead or if they manage to survive and escape by ship. This mod has an amazing atmosphere thanks to visual and sound design, and I definitely urge you to try it out at least once. Next two mods, Blast and Extraction, are a bit simpler. In Extraction, you escort the cargo to a specific location while enemies try to stop you, and in Blast, you simply have to kill opponents before they kill you. There are small scale mods with no heroes or big objectives, and they reminded me of Strike. I found them to be a good training ground for improving accuracy and leveling up before going into Big Boys League in Assault. Overall, there is a lot of stuff to do in Battlefront's multiplayer. After 30 hours of gameplay, out of which around 22 were spent in multiplayer, I only managed to level up Assault class above level 20. And if you want to really get good and unlock all the star cards, you're gonna need a lot of time and dedication, but thanks to huge variety of game modes and classes, you won't get bored while doing it. Star Wars Battlefront 2 is an interesting game. Starting off with PR disaster, it lost a lot of goodwill from players, and it never quite managed to get it back, even with great updates, removal of loot boxes, and rework of some of its worst systems. While everything is not perfect, especially the star cards and low player count of some game modes, I still think it is worth buying. You can see that DICE is trying to improve the game as much as they can, and it doesn't look like they plan to stop anytime soon. So prepare your blasters and fire up your prequel memes, because Battlefront 2 is back. And I guess that's about it. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. It took me a lot of time to make, a lot more than I first anticipated. And I think this is my longest scripted video I ever did, and I hope it was worth it. Anyway, when it comes to any other news, I will be doing another Fallout video soon, another Fallout top 10 that I already had prepared before the Borderlands special, but I didn't manage to finish it. And then I'm not really sure what I'm going to be doing. I have a few ideas for videos, and we'll see which one of them will I make. And since I don't want to make this video any longer than it already is, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Leave a like if you did, tell me what you think about it in the comments, subscribe for more Fallout and other games content, and I will see you next time.